So, I believe last time you guys were heading an investigation into the latest serial killings.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we told you, Prava, but it turns out you're the mastermind. You slaughtered the gang. You left the face imprint. You're basically guilty.
It's probably
Got the
one of my
cuffs.
toxic Space Tube fans.
And here's the thing. For an excuse, I mentioned that Prava basically locked himself away in zero security for your own reasons. Like, you can of course pick your own. Like, you basically maybe wanted to get away from the crowds for a little bit and such and such.
I imagined that, like, they were having drinks, were they? Like, Prava probably drank for the first time and realized that he was a sad piece of shit when he drank, and he just kind of excused himself quietly.
And this is a point where we're going to return to you guys. I think you're on your way back to Zero Risk, or did you want to do anything on your way?
I think I have everything I'm looking for right now.
We probably took a few
make our way
pictures of the
back.
face imprint, so we can ask Prava about that. But otherwise, I think we pretty much scoured the crime scene. No point hanging around.
I just want to imagine that like Prava is like sitting I don't know where in his room, and then Kuzon just like kicks open the door, and it's like, well, got a taste of blood, did you?
Prava's in the middle of recording a video for his
Social media.
his Flitter, his Flitter account with the icon of like a blue butterfly.
Am I going to have to make a follower system? I tell you what, roll. I need you to roll some charisma-based stat. What kind of video are you making? Are you bullshitting, or are you trying to be very charismatic on it?
Well, he's currently masturbating, so.
I'd say that's a charisma
put
based
on
one.
like a Genki excitable persona for this video, and he's doing like a general like, wow, look at the sights of the station.
So I would probably
It's a
say
vlog video, Ash.
diplomacy skill.
It's a vlog
if you
video.
if you want to do that.
What skills, sir?
Diplomacy.
Diplomacy. All right.
You can't get ahead on social media by being genuine and nice.
You have got
Idiot.
2,100 followers roundabout.
Damn.
Congratulations. You
I could be so famous.
your following is growing ever since Agaton. You got a
guys,
few hundred then, but now it's blowing
me,
up.
your best boy Prava. Just came back from murdering some fools. Daka Daka.
So it's more like, hey guys, Avarp here, coming at you live with another video.
And then a little lizard bursts
Smash
into
that
your room.
motherfucking like button.
We need to set up a
Kuzon.
Patreon account.
Yeah.
Please keep interrogating your friend.
So when Kuzon
gonna-
opens the door, Prava's like, oh, what a pleasant surprise.
Why'd you do it, Prav? Or I'm gonna use your name because Kuzon doesn't realize you're recording. Why'd you do it, Prava?
And Prava like puts down the phone. He's like, Avarp, Kuzon. When I'm recording, it's Avarp.
I see. So you have an alter ego for when you commit these crimes.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you just bloodlust, eh? You knock down one guy on Akiton. Suddenly you gotta get your next hit. And I'm just gonna like drop a printed paper of the image on the ground or on his table or something. Just poof.
Prava kind of like tilts his head and looks at it. And does it actually like look like Prava, or is it just like generic Sheeran? Like, do I gotta be like offended here?
The way the DM described it, it looks remarkably like you.
Yeah, for instance, let's say what would be unique to you would be like your antenna, your whiskers would probably be very unique to you. And of course, your black shell and, certain features that only one of your own race would also recognize. Like, oh, one of my chinless plates is slightly askew downwards. That's definitely me.
Yeah, you can see that hitch in his lower left mandible, and he knows that, like, wow, this is a pretty good likeness of me. Where'd you find it? Did one of my fans post it?
Kuzon's gonna like turn on a lamp, like he's gonna like flick a button and like an overhead light's gonna beam directly on him. He's like, "I'll be asking the questions here."
And he's doing it from like feet underneath him.
Prava like flinches
was
back.
that necessary, Kuzon?
Where were you?
By the way, as
At
this
11
is,
PM last
as
night.
this is happening, Aiden has went to the other side of the room. He has dragged the table over and puts Kuzon on top of the table so he looks bigger and more authoritative.
Ataika is at beside the door with his arms crossed, just keeping watch by the closed door.
Last night, I was in zero risk security. Had a little bit too much to drink, excused myself, and I just started making posts. I could show you my post history. I was posting all last night.
That's sick. Kuzon's gonna like, that's a very likely story. And then Kuzon's just gonna turn to Aiden and just be like, "Can you call your girlfriend or something and ask her if Prava was there?"
I do love that you guys know for a fact he was innocent due to the time the murders took place, but you're still doing this, and it's amazing.
I mean, Aiden's just having fun at this point, and he just shrugs his shoulder and calls Murana. "Hey, Murana, we have a situation. We might need you in here."
It's going to be about a minute until she arrives, and she's going to be like, "What is it now? What did you do?"
Not me. It's that psychopath over there. And he points towards Prava accusingly.
She looks confused.
Ataika says, "Guilty until we prove you did it."
I don't think that's how it works.
I think you've got that a little bit backwards there, friend. Can
Nope.
someone please tell me what this is all about? I still haven't gotten a straight answer.
I think you should.
What was the name of the gang? I forget.
Oh, 1 second. Red Razors.
It's like we found a bunch of dead gangbangers known as the Red Razors, and it had your face all over it, or at least on that part of the wall.
Would Prava
Prava.
know about this group? Can I do like a culture check to see if I recognize the name Red Razors?
I would like you to do a willpower check.
Okay.
Like a will save, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You start getting slight headaches, but you remember. It's while you were doing your work out on here, you remember that you did interact with the Red Razors a few times, but not directly. You, of course, had a few friends in the gang here and there, but you had friends all over, given where you lived and, well, your personality. You like making connections. You definitely know about the gang, and that your friends, one you've contacted, didn't like being in the gang either.
So they kind of felt like stuck in the gang, like they were like.
Essentially, for instance, you had one friend called 1 second, Dia. Dia was one of the gang's drug runners. She didn't like it at all, but like most of your friends, she was basically pressed into doing it. Basically, she was in another gang who was not nearly as bad as Red Razors until she was basically captured and forced into pressed gang into theirs. And then you had another friend called Cole who you were pretty good friends with. He would often, almost every other day, come and see you. He was a gang member in that gang and not a grunt, but he was essentially in debt and they had bought his debt and, well, he was part of their gang.
The Razors, those pushy scumbags. So they're like, they take advantage of people basically then who are like in need and like.
Their proper members were well known for being, well, extremely violent. They were definitely not one of the more honorable gangs.
Kuzon's gonna like lean over the desk and is like, "Did I hear a motive?"
I mean, nobody likes the Razors. They would take people at their weakest and push them and force them to do work for them.
Yes, sounds like them.
The worst of the worst. No, it sounds like there wasn't even a crime at all if Raider boys are turning up dead.
Thiveron just nods his head in agreement. That's literally what he said the last time somebody asked him about.
Kuzon will like flick his fingers and the room lighting will go back to normal. And he just kind of like has like a shit-eating grin on his face. He's like, "Oh, I always wanted to do this."
Aiden gives.
Yeah, I'm fucking with you.
Aiden gives Kuzon a thumbs up and says, "Ara boy, we'll make an interrogator out of you yet." But why did you call for Muranovo?
Oh, the only thing I wanted you to do was to confirm with Murata whether or not Prava was in the building all night last night.
Oh. If that's the case, then I can tell you that. I was in the building playing with the kids until late at night. You're the only one that left and came home pissed drunk.
Do you have any pictures of the bodies? I want to make sure it wasn't someone I knew.
So Aiden did it.
So the way this works is we don't have any pictures of the body, but like Kuzon flicks you a pair of glasses, and when you put them on, it's almost like an AR, like alternate reality, like recreation of what the crime scene looked like when it was first discovered.
Okay. Probably gonna put those on and take a look and see if there's any like distinguishing features in the bodies.
First, you see VR lizard porn, and then you're like,
But essentially, as you look through the crime scene, you do notice a few faces, but thankfully it seems like none of them are really, well, who your friends from before. It's been about 2 years after all since you've been here, so it's possible they got out the gang, but there is also some other small thing. One moment. As you look at the iconography of Red Razors, I've sent you a PM. Meanwhile,
Prava clutches his head and just kind of like reels back a bit. I see. They were there?
They. Kuzon puts the light back on again.
At this point, Ash, I think you have to give him a 0-level spell prestidigitation or something.
Well, I mean, if we're in the ship, I can basically do whatever I want with the lighting, I imagine.
Basically, when you're snapping your fingers and getting ready to be dramatic, Aiden is just flicking the rounds. He's basically playing wingman on this one. He's helping you with the special effects.
So is that Prava?
Prava's just kind of like reeling confused still. He doesn't quite want to share this yet because he's not sure about what he remembers. He's gonna take some time here, and he shakes his head and he's like, "I should get in touch with some people. It's been a long time. I should make sure they're safe."
Do we need to kick somebody's door down?
Not yet. Just give me some time. And Prava's gonna go and he's gonna open like one of his old messaging accounts from back in the old days. He's been reluctant to do so because he kind of just cut all ties suddenly. But he wants to make sure now that Raiders are turning up dead that.
So you've opened up your messenger, have you?
Yes.
In the meantime, Aiden's next to Moran and he's like, "See? I told you these guys are a lot of fun."
Sure. I'm gonna go make some snacks. She says she turns away. Clearly wanted to get out of the room because you guys are crazy.
I mean, you can't deny it. You can't.
I mean, Kuzon was kind of just getting a kick out of this.
By the way, since I guess we're done with the interrogation, Aiden's gonna grab Kuzon, put him down on the floor, and he's gonna move the table back to its place.
Ataika almost attempts to pat down Marana.
Yeah, that's not gonna end well
as
for
she
you.
leaves.
She just glares.
It's like, oh man, it's like we were pretty close. If he was actually guilty, he might have admitted to it.
No, I don't like the Razors, but I see no reason to fight with them. They're too big an organization for someone like me to take on.
How disappointing. He pats Prava on the shoulder. For a moment there I thought you unlocked your killer instinct after what happened with the train. Ah well, don't worry, you have other chance to mass slaughter.
I don't think slaughter's ever in the plans.
Oh yeah, no, of course not. It's just, you know, sometimes it works out like that, and you gotta learn to enjoy it.
I mean, I've been meaning to talk to you. I feel like that last job could have went a lot cleaner. I feel like we didn't really do right by all those guys.
Yeah, you're right. I really shouldn't have eaten that explosion to the face. That really fucked up my clothes and glasses. Which reminds me, I still need to get them fixed. Where is Grabby anyway? He should have been back by now.
Yeah, well, here, mix. I've got to type out this and copy it down.
At any rate, don't worry about it, Killer. You'll get a chance to prove yourself next time.
So where exactly did you find these people? Like, what were you doing?
Oh yeah,
Welcome back, Vivian.
we did kind of forget to mention that. I had a talk with Murana. She's been filling me in on what the boys have been doing while I was away. Turns out recently they took a job as security, and on their shift these Razor dudes got wasted. Usually the way it works around this business district is there's a lot of PMCs. It's not just me and my boys, so well, you can imagine if there's a serial killer or if there's drug pushes left to right or there's other crime, it's very bad for business. I mean, if this is an area that's pretty much entirely dedicated to PMC, you'd think that they can keep their own turf safe, otherwise, you know, they're not really worth their salt. So figured since this happened on my shift, I decided to go and check out what's up. The boys decided to come with me and, you know, give me a hand, so we ran with an old detective friend of mine and he gave us the scoop.
Oops. Oh well, that one's going to be shown to people because apparently it does not like me using spaces. Weird.
I'm not reading it. Don't worry.
So yeah, we went over to this gangbangers' place, found them all wasted in a rather peculiar way. What we do know is that this was a one-man job, and apparently extremely skilled, extremely well prepared. Also some hints of magic and whatnot. And it seems like it's... though it hasn't been any links between his hits, seems like he's a serial killer if nothing else. We assume it's a he, though we're not really sure if it's a him or a her yet, so he just shrugs. A lot of things we don't know about yet. We may have a few leads, but it's gonna require some legwork. We decided we might as well, you know, bring it to you first, considering we found this imprint of your face on the wall. And he shows him a picture. Pretty cool, that. No idea how it happened, though, or why.
It's definitely me, that's for sure. The likeness is perfect. Must have been someone who knew me well.
How would they
And
make a
probably
perfect imprint
well.
of your face, though?
Does it
You-
look like an imprint or is it like a drawing? Is it like a dent? Is it like...
Here's the thing: from what it looks like for drawing, literally used by pressure. It's like etching, like somebody used
like
force
someone
to etch
used
it
like
into.
high gravity or something to
Like, are you talking about like engraving?
Kind of like it was a force, and well, anything magic could have been used, a weapon could have been used, gravity could have been used.
Yeah, interesting.
It's like Kuzon just kind of smiles, and it's like it could be just a natural consequence of the incredible amounts of radiation you're always outputting.
I don't know about that, but tell you what, looking at this picture, I feel like this person is in the wrong industry. He should have been an artist. People pay mad cash for this kind of skill.
I'd be a little more impressed if it wasn't turning up at a crime scene. I don't know how to feel about this. Do you think people are gonna connect me to this?
Oh no, don't worry about it. If it goes down to that, I'll vouch for you. Plus, this area is pretty much entirely covered in cameras. You're set. But
I mean, we have an alibi because this happened weeks ago, and we were on Akiton doing other things that are less than legal.
There is something else you should be more worried rather than people pressing charges against you for. I mean, this guy literally left your face there. If that's not a calling card specifically for you, I don't know what is.
Yeah, clearly someone wants to get in contact with me or wants to implicate me in this. Prava's talking while like going through his phone now.
I think you've got it a little bit backwards, Prava. Rather than trying to accuse you for taking a fall for this crime, which is not gonna happen, don't worry. I think this is more sending a message to you. Somebody's trying to get your attention.
Prava looks at the picture again and then looks at his phone. He's like, lots of people are trying to get my attention.
You know what I mean, you show off.
Disappeared without saying much of anything. Who knows who was hurt by that? Who knows who's mad at me?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, Prava's gonna start messaging Cole now. He's just typing a flurry into his phone, like, I'm sorry, I was trying to get away from it all. After everything that happened, you know, I just, I couldn't bear to be around people anymore.
I thought you spent most of your life on an asteroid. When did you have time to make enemies?
I mean, I only spent the last couple years out in after the incident,
Have you ever told me about the incident? Like, just asking out of character?
No, definitely not.
Kuzon just kind of like leans in out of interest, and it was like, an incident? I thought you were a freak by birth.
Prava looks kind of hurt when Kuzon says that. He's just kind of giving like oh, freak, huh? Oh, no, my stranger traits didn't come in until pretty recently. I lived a pretty normal life up until the star started to follow me. Oh no. Prava stops talking all of a sudden and looks deeply hurt as he stares into his phone.
What's wrong?
What?
Cole, what happened to him? Oh no. What about Dia? And he goes to look up Dia's profile.
Kuzon is trying to like nose his way into your phone. Like you can probably hold him back easy enough because he's not being like super insistent. He's like, "What's going on?"
Hold on, he's messaging me, but it says that he's dead. Prava just kind of like, oh. Oh. I want to go visit someone. Do we have time?
Prava, stop. Aiden puts an arm on his shoulder. I understand that right now you're under a lot of emotional stress, but you just said that you're being messaged by somebody who has passed away. Think of it logically. This might be the killer. Before you do anything, let's see if we can't use this as an opportunity to track his location. We have a guy that's very good with computers in the building. I think she's still sleeping. Let's go wake her up, see what she thinks of this. We might be able to get a lead.
Kuzon's just like, as you're saying your sentence, he's like slowly turning his eye up to make very intense eye contact with you.
Aiden raises the brow. I thought you were good with ship mechanics.
I know how to use a computer. I programmed this whole thing.
Well, by all means, do your fucking doodaddies and whatever nuts.
Kuzon, please, if you can track this message, track it. But I don't need to see Cole. Dia's okay. I need to go see Dia.
Tell you what, why don't
may
we give Kuzon some time to work, and you and I can rush ahead and see if we can't find your girl before something bad happens to her.
Thiveron steps forward and says, I will go with you. I've been in his position before.
Yeah, he's got a very keen senses, so he's gonna be very good on tracking whatever we're looking for, so...
I don't think it'll be too hard. It says here that she runs a small restaurant. A noodle cart.
Aiden shows him a picture of the gang hideout. I don't think our culprit cares much for the location. And you see that the entire place is just absolutely wasted.
And what's a noodle?
I believe it's pronounced Nodley.
Okay, let's go, you noodle heads.
Just explaining what a noodle is.
In the meantime, it's like, okay, that's enough chit chat, you noodle heads. Let's go.
You're gonna see. I'm gonna grab the because I think my custom rig has like a data port built into it.
Yes, it
So
does.
I'm going to plug the I'm gonna plug the phone into it, or his communications device, and you just see like Kuzon's kind of like eyes. It's like he's focusing on things that aren't there as he like waves his hand in the air and everything like that. I'm gonna try to like see if it's possible for me to track where these messages are coming from without tipping them off.
I would like you to roll computers.
I'll do that.
Special Agent Kuzon going in.
My computer ain't shaped like a ball. I can't roll it.
Aw, man.
Are you doing
I'm
this
gonna
while you're
die.
following the others? Or I think it's carrying you. Of
Well,
course,
Ataika can probably carry him on his back, so... Ataika.
Ataika.
just like lounging in the bend of your arm. While I'm like...
And he's hacking. As you do message, you firstly you find out that Prava's phone has 0 security.
Yeah,
That's number one. In fact, you probably remember that none of your phones have security.
Well, my phone is built into my custom rig, so I have to assume that there's some security in there.
The funny thing is, unless you've actually put like computer countermeasure software on it, it has no security. It's
I
basically
have-
just a normal phone.
It's okay, I have nothing to hide. I don't care if people know my porn preferences.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess what I mean is my communications device is a part of my custom rig, so it's just as vulnerable as my entire custom rig is. So if I've been vulnerable the whole time, that's fine. But like,
Of course, given
Ataika's
like
is completely secure. He just washed it, and no one can get in. He has no
Okay.
idea how these things work.
So what are you attempting to do to triangulate where the signal came from, where the message came from?
so yeah, and part of what I'm going to do is I'll like while we're walking, I'll be like I'll just be like, what would something Prava would say to try to convince somebody to tell you where they are? I'm basically going to try to get them to like give me a location, and then just monitoring it while we receive the message, see if that gives me an opportunity to like compare the information they give me with where it may actually be coming from. If that makes sense. Like I'm just gonna try to convince them to send another message and see if that.
So what
gives
would
me
you say?
Yeah, what would Prava say? Just like,
I don't know. This isn't really like. Is Prava asking Kuzon, or are you like?
no, I mean I have your phone and I'm
Yeah.
trying to convince whoever's on the other side.
Yeah. But did you like look like what would you say to like, or are you just like just?
Yeah, I'm
guessing what Prava would say?
asking you. Kuzon's asking you why you walk.
Okay. Prava's just like, I'd be very sincere. I'd be like, but it says here that you've passed. Well, how are you messaging me? No, there's no reason for subterfuge. This is call we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just be like, I'll just do my best Prava impression while typing.
Roll bluff.
Well, I mean, he's telling me what it'll say. So I'll just copy his typing. I imagine he's the kind of person who like uses a lot of.
Oh, dude, you look at his like message history, and it's like 40% emoticon. Like,
Yeah.
Kuzon, I got it. Let's use the ancient art that never fails. Send an eggplant and an exploding volcano. That never fails.
New
Here's the
phone
thing.
for this.
You can tell because you obviously can see their past messages. You can see that this person also uses a lot of emoticons as well. Like they just go back and forth. And when you message him that, he goes, he does a little upturned smiley face, and then goes, "Yeah, we both are. Isn't it great that we're not?"
The fuck?
What?
He's weirder than Prava.
So I guess with that, like getting him to roll back, I'm not the whole time that I'm doing this as well. I'm gonna work on trying to secure. If I have to pay or get ready to pay money to secure this guy's communication device, I will. I imagine like the whole time, like I'm uninstalling apps and like and, like adware with them.
Prava's got like 8 different messaging apps on there already.
You're like a grandmother.
By the way,
weird little games. Just anything that looks half interesting, he downloaded without thinking twice.
all right, for your computers, by this point, you can probably, since you're messaging back and forth between them, but since there's so much, well, chaos in signals and the like, but you can do it. So as soon as he goes past what's essentially a checkpoint, then it will ding you. Like, in other words, you will get pinged on his location.
Okay. And what I'll do is you're gonna see Kuzon just like take his phone, and you're just gonna see Kuzon just like make eye contact with you as I pluck the battery out of your communications device. And I just look at you, and it's like, you know that this thing's unsecured, right? Like, I need to do this so they're not tracking us while we're moving around.
Unsecured? I don't understand what you mean. It's in my pocket. How can someone get into it?
it's like, I'm gonna confiscate this from you from now. I just slipped the battery in my pocket. Hand him the communications.
Ataika puts his hand on your arm and says, "Wait." He makes a good point.
That's the funny thing, though, is that essentially phones with level 0 security or level 0 computer is essentially like modern day phones. They're not super easy to get in unless you know computers, but yeah, so for common people, I suspect Kuzon's being like, so like, why haven't you got like 5 layers of security?
Yeah. And he's just like, next time you see it, it's just like completely scrubbed clean of like all of the like games and stuff you put on it.
But his high scores.
It's alright, modern day ones, they're saved online.
That's cloud saving.
It's funny, like Kuzon probably like leans up to him and just goes right up to his ear and says, I can see your dreams, dude.
But I guess here's my question. Can I just for the sake of what we're doing, in case it's relevant, can I just like copy Prava's login information and log into his stuff on my equipment instead of his communications device? Because I don't trust it at this point. Like it's the reason why I plugged the battery out, was just in case his phone is in some way compromised and like people can track us using it.
Just waiting until he puts a countermeasure of self-destruction into it. Yeah, you can. You would be able to like basically log into his chat and message history.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at Prava, and it's like you're not getting this back until I have an opportunity to work on your phone. I'm sorry. It's for the security and safety of all of us, and I also I guess I'll do the same thing. It's like, Ataika, may I have your phone?
But how am I gonna update my blog?
So, as I mentioned earlier, Ataika has no idea how these things work or what they are, and hasn't used it, and has washed it.
Oh. Just like
You
looking at
want
a
wait, your
looking
computer.
at the device.
Yeah, like, well, I'm a robot. You wash like with the way I'm constructed, you wash me, nothing happens. But this thing is just like essentially just a phone on your wrist or whatever. And he has no idea how it works, and he figures like my hands get dirty. My wrist isn't far from my hand. The phone's probably a little dirty, needs a wash. And also, he was washing dishes
Oh yeah.
at Marana's place and never took it off.
I'll fix this later.
And then right then Ataika's like, no, it's unsecure, and then just crushes it with his other fist.
You're lucky it's got 7 credits.
Kuzon just shrugs and is like, I guess that works.
Can't you fix
But,
that?
yeah, I'll mark the location, and where is it? So I have a map of the station, right? I assume that message came from Epsilon Station.
Yes, it did. You know that much.
I think.
By
Do
the
I
way,
have an idea
as,
of like what area it came from, or like what?
You
Oh,
do
I see.
know that it's basically in your third of the station.
Okay.
So you set it up to ping as soon as he passes some sort of checkpoint that automatically like scans your ID and stuff.
I assume what I'm doing is probably illegal if I'm like
Oh yeah, definitely.
hopping into checkpoints and stuff like that. Kuzon doesn't care.
Essentially, you're
the
piggybacking off of the alert.
Yeah, the ship's resources are his resources as far as he's concerned.
The funny thing is, a firewall will only cost you about 2 credits to put on your phone.
Yeah, I assumed that I didn't need to buy the stuff for my my exocortex and my communications device, but if I should, then I will.
Well, you can see after this session if you want. I'm going to post it in. This is all the computer stuff that you can add and mix around if you have a computer banking. Anyway, so you're going to the noodle stand, are you?
Yeah, Prava's gonna like look up the address of that place and head right there. Now that he knows that Cole's dead, he's worried about everybody.
And I'll let Prava know. I'll let Prava know while we're walking. It's like, your other friend, I'm monitoring his device. If he passes by a checkpoint in this station, I should know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kuzon. I really need to get to the bottom of this.
As you're making your way. Oh, carry on. Sorry.
No,
I interrupted you.
that was the perfect segue. Great.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because by this point you do see the stand, and, well, it's looking rather fancy, especially for down here, but seems like the sign is selling still cheap noodles, and the 4-armed being behind it is actually... Hang on. I almost choked to death describing her. Oh my god.
She's that much, huh?
Yeah, she's just that much, man. Oof. Yes. How do you pronounce this name? Kasaraf. The 4-armed ones. Damn my dyslexia. Kasafa. Thank you. Kasafa. There you go. Essentially, you can see the Ruskin female. He's got a small wrapping around her tall head, and all 4 arms are going around the different dishes.
You have a weird way of pronouncing Machomp.
Prava, like, not wanting to make a scene and not wanting to like yell and like run in and express his emotions physically, he just sends like a psychic message full of relief to her, and he's just like, Dia, I'm so glad you're okay.
You can see it, so you see her stop doing noodles and looking around. It's like, I know that voice in my head. What? Is that you?
And Prava just kind of like steps out from the crowd into sight, and just kind of like he kind of refuses to make eye contact with her. He like looks off towards the ground and just kind of like tilts his vision up to her.
You're alive. Does no one stay dead? What? She's just in utter shock, like sheer shock right now. She just stops serving the person who's just waiting out of a bowl. It's like, what's going on?
I'm sorry. I'd meant to leave quietly. I didn't want to create much of a fuss, but it seems that created more problems. I've missed you an awful lot. What have I missed? What happened to Cole? What?
You both died. One moment. She like scoops up noodles, the broth and everything inside the person's bowl. It's like, go sit down, and then puts down a close sign coming outside from behind the stall, taking off her garment for a moment and put it to the side. It's like, where? Never mind. We all thought you died. The Red Razors said they killed you.
They said they killed. And he kind of like holds his head again, and glances around like they were there when, but.
Would you roll another willpower save?
By the way, Ash, while this is happening, Aiden is keeping an eye on the surroundings because he expects this might be some kind of trap for them to be in the same place at the same time. Somebody might try to jump them.
Okay. So essentially, as Prava, you get a rather intense headache and more flashes. You see that you're on the ground holding somebody as the Red Razors come towards you, weapons drawn, before it all fades out again.
Coming for me, but he's not in any place to use his psychic messaging anymore, so he's just kind of like muttering to himself. And he just kind of drops to his knees, looking between the ground and Dia, and the ground and then Dia, the ground and then Dia. And he's just like, no, I'm alive. I'm okay. I've just been hermiting myself away, but why?
We thought you died, but I'm glad you're alive. I can't believe it.
Kuzon's just like sitting on the table with his hands together between him and his friend, and he just kind of goes.
Prava just kind of gives Kuzon a look like, what the fuck are you doing?
And Ataika's eating noodles beside him.
Kuzon just like rolls his eyes and then offers his hand. He's just like, my name's Kuzon. Pulled our mutual friend Prava out of a space rock. How are you doing?
Hello. Like, she extends like two of her hands and shakes your hand. Like, well, I'm glad you got him back. As much as he's an idiot for leaving without telling us.
But you said something that piqued my interest. You're saying other people are coming back from the dead? What does that mean?
Oh, it's likely just a prank, but with Prava here, I don't know. I got a message from Cole, and he sent me, she gestures towards what looks like new gear for a store. It's like he sent me money.
Cole with money? I've never known him to hold anything together, really.
So she has equipment?
Yeah, gesturing the noodle stand. While some of it looks old and secondhand, there's new cook stations, there's brand new noodle makers, there's all sorts of new stuff, including the seating arrangements that's been placed around for the customers.
Kuzon just kind of like looks at Prava, and he's just like, he kind of has a serious look on his face. He kind of looks like, for the most part, he looks like he was just kind of like having fun with the whole situation. But he's gonna look. It's like, is she a friend? Trustworthy?
The most trustworthy.
And I'll like turn back to her. It's like, we received the same message from your guys' mutual friend Cole. I'm very suspicious. Is your communications device secure?
Well, I only have really a landline, but I do have this. What essentially is like a archaic pager type thing. Like, it's clear she hasn't spent whatever money she's got on communications device just yet.
Is it kind of like a Nokia, where like it's not very high tech, but it's almost so simple that it's like not that hackable? That makes any sense?
Essentially, in other words, it's not really used for putting information on. It's simply
It wouldn't
used for
like have her
calls.
personal information and stuff like that on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just used for like calls and text, and that's it.
I'll just say it's like, if your friends are really as bad at staying dead as you think they are, it could be the real Cole, but I'm suspicious. We're gonna get to the bottom of what's going on here. It's piqued my interest.
He types like Cole, and if he's being generous to Dia, it must be Cole.
Why are you suddenly interested in this? I mean, friends coming back to life after almost 2 years is great, but why now? What's going on?
There was a killing, some red razors, and they left something behind. Prava like just kind of looks to Kuzon to see if he can give the glasses to.
Yeah, I'll. Well, I mean, I could just like, I just flick up a screen and I show the imprint, and just like looking at her, it's like, was Cole much of an artist?
Well, he tried to be.
Yeah, he wasn't great, but like, you know, you really see him putting the effort in.
Yeah, he tried doing a lot of graffiti, but it didn't always turn out the best.
Well, I mean, that's just the story of Cole. A lot of half measures of that.
Yeah, that's how he got in trouble in the first place. Still, you were there to help him, I guess.
It's Kuzon just kind of like nods, and it's like, is there anybody else that are mutual friends that were in some way implicated in your old work? Anybody else that we might need to shake down?
Well, there was one, but he's rather high up right now.
We could knock him down a few pegs. Who is he?
Well, I'm not sure if you remember him, brother, but yeah, right. They say he's a diplomat now. He has a his nickname was Blee, but as his second name is Bleeblop. I know, it's weird.
Bleeblorp. Beautiful.
You don't remember?
I want to
Can
go
I
ahead
take a
and pull
culture
up
check to
Prava's
see
stuff
if
in
I
the-
recognize that name?
You may
He's
roll.
become a diplomat because with Thiveron's parents.
You may roll, yes. Let's have a look.
Nope.
Sadly, you don't remember him, but the name still stands out to you. For some kind of reason, you have heard of him. Like, he definitely exists in your mind.
It's like the same kind of familiarity when you say like a name like Danny Trejo.
It's almost
Yeah,
like
it's like-
somebody said they want to vote for him.
While everybody's like talking, because like at this point they're talking about like diplomats and like it's kind of become less of a cool like internet like alternate AR game for Kuzon. He's gonna like hop off of the like walk back the counter and take a look at the noodle machines.
Can we stay on task here? People's lives could be in danger.
Ataika looks up from his noodles, still like just kind of pressing the noodles to his face and then letting them fall to the bowl. Because eating would require him to take his faceplate off, and it's just not a thing he's gonna do.
Kuzon just like from the other side of the room, like mimes the action of like taking the mask off and do it to his mouth.
There's a very subtle head shake from Ataika as he continues to do it, and he also says to Prava, "I am laser focused."
Don't take Dia's food without paying.
It's fine. Noodles. are
There's
cheap.
money. There would be money on the counter. I'm saying I'm eating noodles, but I didn't want to like go through that while everybody was doing that.
So in other words, you put down some noodles and served yourself. It's fine. You wouldn't
Yeah, I
mind.
grabbed the bowl from the guy that was eating and put money beside him.
While
Poor customer
Well,
got bullied out of his noodles.
I don't
while
think he'd take
I'm
it back.
I'm gonna scope the building for like cameras like that while we're talking, just to see what kind of, because at this point Kuzon hasn't
wait.
said anything, but he's kind of convinced that this place is going to get hit.
So wait, you are using the cameras currently here. Are you checking back, or are you looking?
I was
now?
checking to see if they like had cameras.
Yeah, there are a few cameras around here. This is a slightly more upscale part of the spire. The spike, sorry.
Yeah, but do they have cameras like do they have any security measures? Probably not in the noodle shop.
Well, hers is a stand outside on the street. There are a few cameras around focused on the
Oh, I
street.
see. Okay, makes sense. I'll just be like, while everybody's talking, I'll just be casually like sticking my finger inside of the cameras. You know what I mean? Like leaving an entry point for me to get in if we need to. That makes sense.
So yeah,
I basically like what I want is to like set up something where, because at this point Kuzon hasn't said anything. He's been kind of like playing it off casually, but he wants to if they decide to leave this place, he wants to make sure that they can keep an eye on it. If that makes any sense.
I get what you mean. Did you want to look for them now, or are you just basically making a hole for yourself for later?
Yeah, to like access it later. I don't think there's anything that I can see right now.
Alright, so you basically just put up a gateway to the thing. I'll allow that. So in other words, you can make a check later to bust on in.
Yeah.
I need to figure out what I'm missing in my memory here. Maybe it's something relevant. Did we go missing at the same time?
Well, yeah, that's what the gang said. They said they killed you because you were trying to help Cole backstab them.
I was? What? I mean, I wanted him to get out, but I wouldn't want him to make enemies of the Razors. Where would I get the confidence to...
Well,
Has she noticed the little star orbiting my head?
she has. She's been looking at it now and again. It's like, what the fuck is that?
So she's never seen this before. Prava just kind of looks up to the star and stares at it for a second, and it's like, it was when my powers appeared, but...
Do you think it could be related? I mean,
It could be. I don't remember much from that day. I just remember the aftermath and being scared, and wanting to get away from everybody.
well, Well, I can't blame you for that. I can't blame you for not contacting me for a while. She, by the way, since you're still near on the ground, she's gonna try helping you up.
Yeah, Prava like accepts and just kind of stands up, letting her do most of the work. Kind of just like staring at her the whole time.
So, who are your new friends? Like, she's actually getting slightly off topic as she's like going around to the others, extending her four arms towards the ones she hasn't met.
Uh-oh.
This is Kuzon, Aiden, Thiveron, and Ataika.
I just go introduction protocol 1.
He puts like a fist very concerningly close to her face.
I mean, protocol 2.
He does like an explosion with his hand.
Perfect.
It's like, I think that she leans back towards you, Prava. I think that was an attempt at a fist bump.
Yeah, he's an odd duck.
She goes on. While you're doing that, she goes on to shake Aiden's hand, and then Thiveron's, of course. It's like, you're interesting. I've never seen you much.
Oh, okay, just do that.
There's not a lot of us here.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen a lot. Apart from, I think there were others that ran some sort of soup kitchen around here at one point. I think they do it now and again.
Would I know that that's my parents she's talking about?
Given that your race is extremely rare and they tend to do, help this community, it is more than likely.
Yeah, I see you've met my parents.
Oh, they're your parents. Well,
Yes, we came here a long time ago.
we'll make sure to tell thank you. They helped a lot. In fact, the organization helped me get out from the gang,
Really, what gang?
the Red Razors.
Good, you are better off.
She nods her head, especially if they're all dead now. And oh, sorry, I get caught up in interesting things. You were trying to speak human. Your name, Aiden, I believe.
Aiden, don't mind it, miss. Pleasure to meet you. And Aiden smiles at her like a professional and shakes her hand before going back into looking at their surroundings because he doesn't feel comfortable for some reason.
Hmm.
I guess you could say we're co-workers. I've been living on a small asteroid for the last couple of years, just taking myself away from it all, and the guy who brought me my supplies went missing, and Kuzon here came and found me just as I was running out of food. I'm working with them to pay back my debt.
I see. Well, you haven't taught them about shaking all four of my hands, since that's something you only used to do, which is a good thing at least. You're not sharing your strangeness with them. She just smiles.
It's not that weird, I just
Ataika's eyes light up like the fucking Iron Giant when he knows he can shake all four at the same time. But I only have two.
I mean, I don't shake all four at the same time. That would be fucking lewd if I used my reproductive arms for that sort of.
Oh, ew.
Is it? Ew, it looks weird.
Yucky. You hear Ataika say yucky.
So, is that all you wish to talk about? By the way, Aiden and Kuzon, if you were looking out for area, and Thiveron actually, since you got blind sense, can you make a perception?
On it?
Yep.
Since I think Ataika is a bit too busy thinking about bug reproductive organs and also eating noodles.
Yeah, eating noodles will do that for you, man.
How
It's very
dare
distracting.
you, that's true.
Damn it.
Listen, we could go into Sheeran reproduction for days. It's very interesting. They require 3 genders to have a baby.
Hmm.
That's crazy. Humans actually have like hundreds.
Oh god, don't start this discussion. Anyway, the point, what Kuzon and Thiveron, you actually do sense something. For instance, this is how it goes. Thiveron, you smell the same burnt, bony, like smell of magic that you smelt before. Like it suddenly got stronger.
Yeah, he's going to pull his spear and say, "Dia, you need to get down. He's here." And then
What?
turn around in whatever direction this is coming from.
And as you smell, you do point down towards the hallway. But at this point, Kuzon, you hear what sounds like out from the street. It's a weird sound. It's like a as if it's strange because it's like a vacuum was suddenly created in one area.
Uh,
I'll like. Do I know like approximately what direction it came from?
It's the direction that Thiveron is now facing with his spear.
I'll whip out my my plasma or my rifle, the laser rifle, and just like point it in the same direction the spear is pointed.
I'm immediately gonna call out to Kuzon. Kuzon, he may have used what kind of magic, the kind of magic he used in that place. Check your gun, it might not fire. And I'm immediately gonna start trying to yell and pull the civilians away from the scene.
Kuzon just like gives him like a half-lit look, just like it's like you're questioning the integrity of my equipment.
Ataika takes out his azimuth laser rifle and just shoots a couple times in the air.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you got people are running now.
Yeah, well, that's good too.
Right before he does that, Prava was like going to answer Dia. He was like, I didn't really have a plan. I just heard that Cole was dead and I just needed to see. And then that's the moment that the shooting starts. And Prava just like straightens up immediately. The star floats down to his hand and he has his weapon at the ready. And he looks in the direction that Kuzon's looking in. Or Thiveron's looking in.
And so Ataika goes to one knee and he just says to Prava, like, back hitch formation, which is basically just like, put your back to mine.
Okay, Prava doesn't understand that at all. This isn't like a discussion they had in advance.
No. No, that's the whole point. He will say that to anyone. No one here knows that.
I'm sorry, I'm a hardened mercenary, I know that.
Well, it may be named something different, but you'd probably understand, like, see what he's doing, be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, back to back.
I'll stand underneath in between your guys' legs.
So yes, Thiveron, what are you doing?
Like I said, I pulled my spear and I told Dia to get out or to get down.
she's basically hiding behind a cart while all the others have run off due to the laser fire.
Yeah,
Like
Aiden
they're all
hasn't.
taking cover. It seems rather normal for them since they've all almost as if they already had hiding spots picked out.
Aiden hasn't bothered to take out any guns. So far, he's basically been busy making sure that all civilians clear the scene so they don't get mixed up in whatever's about to happen. So he's got his hands full with that.
As you're doing that, it's suddenly eerily silent. All you can hear is the far-off sounds of the station. You don't know exactly, well, nothing's coming. And suddenly you hear ping on your wrist thing, Kuzon, in your communications device.
You'll see like one of the over the head goggles kind of like peer up on Kuzon's eye as he doesn't let go of his gun or like move to look at anything on his wrist, but he brings like the AR display like over his eye and looks at it without like changing position, if that makes sense. And is it like a message?
Yes.
You can read it in Roll20's chat.
Yeah, it's in roll 20.
Is that coming from Cole's account?
Yes.
Kuzon like is whispering to I guess Aiden, because Aiden's the one sitting next to me, and he just says, Cole here has eyes on us. He knows we're here.
I'm going to remove my glasses and I'm gonna start looking at the nearby rooftops. I wanna see if somebody is looking out on us from up above.
I am going to, without like trying not to be too out, I am going to try to access the cameras. I need to know if somebody else has their hands on it.
What, you're trying to check if somebody has hacked it?
Like, yeah, to see, because we know there's cameras. I'm just gonna check for signs that somebody else has been tampering with it.
Yeah, basically
Okay,
Kuzon's
roll
checking the
computer.
cameras and I'm checking the area around us and the rooftops to see if somebody's looking on us from some kind of, porch or something.
And then I will cast Detect Magic and start scanning the area to see if I can pick up any magical blips that might be
use
approaching.
mysticism.
What was that?
You can use mysticism or detect magic.
Yeah, I was using Detect Magic.
Okay, so first thing, Kuzon, you do not see any tampering with the cameras.
Okay. Besides probably my own.
Yeah, exactly. Apart from your own that you left behind. But Thiveron, you actually noticed that the magic you sensed before is actually coming from a small alleyway, just at least like 30 feet away. Like
Everybody.
it's the same kind of remnants that it was before.
Well, I say everybody that way, and I point toward that alley.
Careful, this might
Prior
be a
to him
trap.
saying that, Prava was just like foolishly looking in every direction. He didn't think to do any of this fancy like magic or tech searching. But the second Thiveron gives him a direction, he is sprinting towards that alley.
I'm gonna try to grab him and try to stop him.
Can I like make a save to avoid being grabbed?
Aiden would have to try and make a grab for you if you're actively
I
resisting.
wanna try to grab him because this might be a trap and he's rushing into danger. I wanna
Prava
stop him.
does not care if it's a trap. He's going to actively resist.
Okay, what should I roll to try to stop him?
Well, normally it's an attack to try and grab someone.
Okay,
essentially.
I'll just roll CQC. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'm gonna assume 9 is not gonna stop him.
Sadly, you just see the bowman is just way too fast. You can just see him.
As I miss him, I'm gonna yell after him. Prava, stop! This could be a trap! Stop! And I'm gonna run after him.
It doesn't matter what it is. Cole, are you there?
As you turn the corner, since it's only 30 feet, as you turn the corner, you see that there's nothing there. The air around the place is still lingering with that burnt sense of magic, but well, it's as if it's just gone. For instance, there's a trash can by it, and there seems to be a section just sliced out of it.
Does it look like it's been like cut with a blade, or like cut with heat, or like cut with?
It's just as if it's just been gone, like
Just missing. Okay.
yes, like part of it's just missing suddenly. Like it's always been missing. There's no marks of cutting or anything.
I'll like do the thing we do where like I'll like knock on Ataika's boots and then kind of like point forward and just like with him kind of move towards the alleyway.
And Ataika will listen and take the hint and go.
Prava just looks around desperately, and he starts to like run further down the alley.
As you're going down the alley, you notice that the magic suddenly stops. It's as if the magic is concentrated in that one area.
Okay. Interesting. So there's no like a trail to follow per se. It's just like he just.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Would I be able to sniff out like a trail of some sort using survival to identify a track?
You can roll survival.
24.
Ooh, nice. Essentially, your nose picks up that the trail goes down the alleyway and out into the street on the other side, but what's strange about it is that it gets weaker the further out you go, indicating that he came this way, but never left the alley.
Can I roll mysticism to see if there's traces of like teleportation magic or invisibility,
You may roll
anything
that,
like
yes.
that? See what type of magic was being used here.
Let's see. You could probably tell, given the evidence and the faint sense of like that strange element type magic from before, is that it probably was teleportation.
It's no use. He's gone.
Kuzon's just like looking around. I guess here's my question: because I'm not how common are like I know that this is not what we're describing, but for Kuzon's sake, how common is like teleportation technology? Is that like something that is like something that people would even use on a station like this?
There have been known for portals and the like. For instance, there is actually a very large portal that when people enter, they tend to die on one of the arms. So you do know that portals exist and
But
teleportation
it's like
exists.
super not likely that somebody has like a personal teleportation device that they're watching.
Yeah, it's not like the average ship captain has a personal teleporter, yeah.
Okay. Kuzon is just kind of like looking around, and just like, what the fuck? It's like in order for somebody to pull a disappearing act like this, your friend Cole has to have a lot of dough on him.
Well, he did send money to Dia, but I don't know where Cole would make that kind of money. He's a risk taker, not a planner.
While they're discussing this, Thiveron, he would walk back over to Dia's noodle cart, and he would extend one of his hands to her as she's behind her cart and say, "They're gone. You can come out now."
As she comes out, you can see that others and the customers are coming out as well. And it's like, they seem to understand that you guys weren't exactly bad guys firing off their guns. At least, for one, you're too nice.
This is where she would see that Ataika threw off his shawl and all of his weapons were exposed. So, like, his shield's on his back and he has his sword, and a gun was apparently stuck to his fucking chest.
I'll
What the hell?
I'll just be like just hand you your shawl back while like glancing at the crowd.
And I'm looking for my noodles that I may have knocked off the table. The smell was so pleasant.
Thank you. She says. She says, "Thank you, Thiveron." That's like, she seems a bit shaken. Like, well, former gang member, sure. She doesn't seem very used to this type of stuff.
Yeah, like forced gang member, so it's
I'll,
more understandable.
I'll just like show the message I got to the group that tipped me off.
He was here. He saw us. Why did he leave? Why wouldn't he talk to me?
I have
we
a
may be
question.
dealing with somebody other than Cole.
What? And it's like Kuzon's gonna lean. It's like, you have to be honest with us, Prava. What do you remember about the incident that made you what you are?
The razors were there. They were coming to attack me, to kill me. Guns raised, but I don't remember why, and I don't remember what I did.
Was Cole with you?
Yes, we were together.
Kuzon just like is like thinking, it's like, that's a connection.
Do you think what happened to me could have happened to Cole?
I'd say that's pure speculation, but it seeming like kind of a coincidence. All of this stuff that's happening, say.
Kuzon kind of looks over to Thiveron. And he's like, what did you, what tipped you off? How did you know to go down that alleyway?
First, it was the smell. It smelled like the crime scene, the Red Razor Massacre. And then, detecting magic, it showed that there was an aura in that alleyway. I was able to track somebody's footprints in that alleyway, but they got stronger at the point of the trash can, and then they just disappeared, as if they had been teleported somewhere.
I have a question. I have an upgrade to my armor that's infrared vision. It's dark vision, but it's called infrared vision. Do I see any like physical signs of this, or is only Thiveron able to like detect anything? Like, even if I don't understand what it is, is there physical signs of like radiation or something else weird going on, like heat signatures?
Yes, there's faint signs of radiation.
By the way, you got another ping on a location.
Seems like something past a checkpoint.
Which, do I know like which what direction the checkpoint's in?
Yeah, you can
Yes,
look
you
at
know
roll
exactly
20.
which docking. Yes, you know exactly which docking arm it is.
I tap Prava on the knee there. I'm just like, look alive. Our friend just passed the checkpoint, and I'll point at in that direction.
Prava's like, lead the way, quickly!
And just as we get ready to go, and it's like Kuzon like saw all the physical evidence and everything, and it's like, you're gonna turn me into a superstitious man if I keep hanging out with you guys.
Dia, I promise, I'll message you soon. I have new social media accounts. Follow me.
Prava, stop.
Avoid the social media account.
Prava, stop. You're rushing ahead again. Think about this for a second. We just confirmed that whoever we're chasing down, he's leading us on a goose chase and he can teleport. We need to figure out a way to get this person in one place so he can't escape.
He's not just anyone, he's Cole, and I have to see him now.
Damn it, Prava! And I'm gonna rush after him.
She's gonna look for Thiveron as he's about to leave and go, "Thank you. I hope to speak to you again."
Likewise.
And look
By
after
the way,
him.
I do have a question.
Huh? What?
Have you lived on Absalom your whole life, or have you been to Idar?
I lived for about 5 years on Idar.
Did you ever meet a man named Augarian, a fellow Kasathan, a priest of Tal?
I mean, there's billions of people. That would be... That
1 in a million chance, I know, but I still have to ask.
strange. I do seem to remember. Why do I remember? I met him once as he was stopping for supplies or something.
Do you know how long ago this was?
It's not too long ago. Going back a few years, maybe?
And this was on Idari a few years.
Yeah. How That's strange. How would I know somebody that specific? Like, she seems very confused. Like, after all, it is, as you mentioned, a 1 in a billion chance that she should know anything.
He stands out.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Huh.
Thank you. That is all I needed. I've been searching for him for 5 or 6 years now. That gives me one lead.
She nods. I promise to, if I remember anything else. Like, she's still looking very... For some apparent reason, she got over her dead friend coming back to life quite easily, but this is kind of freaking her out. Like, how? What? As if those memories weren't exactly there normally.
He gives her his contact information from his data pad. Says if you remember anything else, just send a voice message to me. I don't see very well.
Okay, look after Prava and good luck.
I will do so. Thank you. And then he'll leave.
Yeah, Ataika is still at the table. He was waiting, kind of down, like a kid that knows he messed something up. And he has his gun in his hand, and he already put the shawl on, and it kind of restricts his movement, so he needs help putting his gun on his back.
Thiveron is gonna walk over and help him put his gun on his back.
It's like a parent helping a child like fix their backpack on their back before they go to school, and with his head still down, he asks, "Can I take another bowl of noodles?"
Sure. She like offers out the bowl. It's like, here you go.
Is there like still another whole bowl of noodles just spilled out onto the ground from where it fell off?
Yes.
Yes, it's probably just sitting like on the floor.
Poor noodles.
There's the noodles. Right, so you're rushing towards the thing now, are you?
Prava has like a pretty significant head start if they had all that talking time. So like, Prava vanished from sight.
Aiden is very closely chasing after Prava to make sure he doesn't get himself in too much trouble.
Ataika has long legs.
Right.
Is there anything that I know about the checkpoint? Are there any like restrictions or anything like that?
Not really. It's a public thing. I mean, you have to log in, but otherwise.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So essentially, one moment. This is where you're currently at Absalom. Like you're essentially coming from the spike in here and then going cross.
Okay.
And you see the security guards are standing at the checkpoint. It's like, please sign in. 2 credits.
I'm gonna pay for everybody
Credits
again.
work? Are they just like a credit card? Do you have to like stop and fuss with it, or can I like throw coins at them as I run by?
Well, you should have a credit
Cool.
chip. Essentially, you just scan it over like contactless payment, right? Ding, sort of thing.
Yeah. Prava basically sprints past that guy, just like swiping his card as he goes.
Have a good day. Would you like the season pass? He says to Aiden as he probably runs past too. It's like, okay.
I run past as well.
He's gonna basically repeat. It's like, have a good day.
Poor guy.
Thiveron is going to, still moving quickly, but just kind of turn and nod to him. Say, you too, and keep running after him.
You can always see the middle, like the almost sad looking face, or you smile a little bit as you say that. Like, thank you.
Kuzon doesn't even glance at them.
As Ataika goes by, he starts to ask. He swipes and he's like, "Now, what do I get with the season? I'll be back to inquire. And he keeps running.
Of course, have a good day. And as he
Only
runs
on your
past-
microtransactions.
Some ship skins and the season pass.
Guys, for realsies, bro, after last session and this session, I'm convinced we gotta start making more money because just going around the station is gonna drain us. These microtransactions start adding up.
I mean,
Would
once,
you like
once
to
we're
unlock
not
the
dealing with
left arm
something so
DLC?
once we're not dealing with something so pressing, it's not gonna be hard for us to make a living here, I think.
Well, to be fair, you made this more pressing. You were like going so after it, right? But here's
Yeah.
the thing.
It's important to Prava, and like Kuzon's not saying like
Sweet.
Kuzon's kind of being a dick about it, but if it's important to Prava, you can see.
Ash, I'm kinda curious. You know, in some games you can put yourself in a state where it's basically game over and you can't do shit about it except restart the entire game. What happens if we don't have cash to go through the checkpoints? Are we stuck?
Well, you just go over and then you'll be fined like 10 credits later.
Yeah,
Look,
I'm
if
pretty
it
sure
comes
they
down
can't
to
charge you
it,
with
I
their
can
own
box
costs.
it as well. Probably can.
Wait, does that
Okay,
mean that I'm
so-
still expecting a bill from when I, used the first voyage trip to dash out of the station like a mad lad with the ship?
Yes, you have a small fine waiting for you. Don't worry, Morana paid it off.
Oh, sweet.
But as you start running down the way, one second, I should loop this. Yeah. As you start sprinting down the long corridor, passing by the docking little things for little shuttles and the like, you see the cloaked figure. Thiveron, you do smell that same sense of magic.
Okay, Thiveron draws his spear and casts detect magic to see if this is potentially who we're looking.
Oh, it is exactly who you're looking for.
This is him.
Where is he?
Prava, stand back.
You
I
can
wanna
actually
throw my
see him on
spear
his
out in front of
phone.
him.
Kuzon just like mutters under his breath, it's like, Prava, I really need you to be chill right now.
Cole, why won't you talk to me face to face?
Jason!
And that's the thing. He sends that message because it bleeps on your Kuzon, but he was you can tell he's interrupted because you can see him putting his phone away and turning towards the group. You can't really see anything apart from like his robes. And he's looking right towards Prava.
He's wearing like robes?
Yeah, he's same thing he's wearing in the security footage. He's head to toe in cloth and robes.
Prava's star flares brightly as he looks at him, casting off like a strong light.
Do you get closer, Prava?
Yes.
As you're getting closer, you do feel, well, strange. Just as if your star is getting stronger with each step you take towards him.
Cole, were you there when... What happened? I don't remember much of anything, but... Everyone thinks you're dead. Everyone thinks I'm dead.
Oh, I had hoped I wouldn't meet you like this. But I am so glad.
Cole?
By the way, as he speaks, it's not him speaking. You can tell right away that he's using telepathy. Something he never had because Cole was a hobgoblin.
Cole,
And-
you were never inclined in the psychic arts.
Oh, I've gained much since our interaction. But I'm so glad. And you can see him slowly reaching up towards his face, and he's peeling off the cloth. And as he does, you don't see the bright red skin of a hobgoblin. You see an almost metallic, charred skeleton of a hobgoblin as he removes his hood. You can see a few people around the docking area like, what? An undead? Like they're a bit
I'm-
freaked out.
Kuzon Kuzon like is reaching, like trying not to be extremely obvious, but he's like reaching and being prepared to draw his weapon. He's like tweaked out by this.
Prava just gasps and stares at him, and he's like, "What happened to you? Your face? Did
You don't remember? So that's why. That's why you never contacted me or the others. I see. Now it makes sense. Oh, and I thought you were just being arrogant and leaving us behind with your new power. Of course, I should never have guessed that. Of course. But you don't remember? At all?
I remember the Red Razors, they were coming for us. It was the first time my power, but no, not a power. It's the first time my curse flared up.
Curse? Well, maybe you see it as that, but as you can see, the same curse is a blessing to me.